As predicted, RussiaGate is now coming back around to hurt the left. This is something that a few of us on the left were warning about. Not many, though. It was kind of lonely. But myself, Glenn Greenwald, Jimmy Dore, Aaron Mate kind of led the charge on this, Max Blumenthal, Rania Kolick. There were a few of us, and I'm sorry if I'm leaving anybody out. I know there's others out there who did the same, but honestly, it was probably significantly less than half of prominent lefties really stuck their neck out there. I'm so bad at speaking, yet I'm a talk show host. It makes no sense. Anyway, there are very few of us who really stuck our neck out. Stuck our neck out. I'm still laughing at that. That reminds me of the song "Nuck If You Buck." Remember that? How the hell did I get to talking about the rap song "Nuck If You Buck"? But look that up while you're at it. Anyway, so very few of us stuck our neck out there. Tough to say. And it's all coming back around, man. This is, I don't want to say the chicken's coming home to roost because it feels wrong, but this kind of is that. So look at this. Bernie Sanders is told that Russia is trying to help his campaign. Okay, but they're not. They're not doing that. That's not a thing that's happening. They have their own problems. They're dealing with it. Russia is not like, yes, let me support candidate who wants to give everybody in America health care. That's not happening. Who believes this shit? Okay, anyway. So, he was briefed about it. Now, I have to say, even though Bernie has fed in a little bit to the whole RussiaGate thing, I feel like his response to this non-scandal scandal was kind of clever. Because what he did is, I really like this, it's a jujitsu move. He said, well, hey, listen, I'm against any interference in our elections. And if I'm president, I am protecting our elections for sure. I'm making it a priority. And also, let me say, you know how everybody was talking about those really mean Bernie bros online? Well, I can't say I told you so, but I kind of told you so. I don't think they were real supporters of ours. I think it was Russia. Oh, you clever son of a bitch. That was good. All right, that's good. So listen, guys, I just want to say this because there are other friends of mine on the left are going to be very critical of Bernie for even feeding into the Russia thing a little bit. And they're right on the substance. Yes, Bernie was wrong to feed into it because their RussiaGate was nonsense. But in terms of a political strategy, a lot of us may be playing checkers and he's playing chess. So let me be clear. I don't think he believes any of the stuff about Russia. I don't think that he thinks Trump is a freaking Manchurian candidate or any other nonsense that people like Hillary seem to genuinely believe. But what he just did there was a little bit of political genius. So he took an issue that they were bashing him over the head with relentlessly, and then he took another issue that they were trying to use to bash him over the head relentlessly with, and he used the new issue to nullify the old issue. Come on, Bernie. Come on, man. That was amazing. I'm seriously in awe of how clever that was. Hey, you guys were talking about the Bernie bros. Well, I kind of agree with you. There was a problem. But I don't think it was real supporters of mine. You guys say Russia's trying to help me. Yeah, those were the Bernie bros. All those mean people online who I'm disavowing, they're not actually supporters of mine. It's Russian bots. What do you want me to tell you? Damn, that was smart. Okay, so I like that. Now, at the same time, don't get it twisted. The whole point of RussiaGate is the establishment trying to delegitimize anybody it doesn't like. And the establishment did not like Donald Trump because Donald Trump was on the campaign trail talking about, hey, we need to end the wars, we need to rebuild our own country, we need to stop, nation building over there. He was talking about some populist economic stuff and being against the trade deals, and it really threw a wrench in the status quo. And they thought, if he actually does that, we're totally against him. But, of course, in office, he ended up, largely serving the establishment. So they didn't, even though there are elements of the deep state that hate him, now they only hate him for cultural reasons and the mean tweets we don't like and he's not presidential. Whereas before they thought, well, maybe, he's actually going to change stuff and they're against that. With Bernie, they really don't like him because they know he's really going to change stuff. So the same playbook they used against Trump, they're going to use against Bernie with RussiaGate. And it's funny because Trump kind of came out in favor of Bernie on this because he was like, so my intelligence agencies are the ones who just came out and said, oh, Russia's helping Bernie. Nobody told me that. Nobody said anything to me. I'm the president. These are my intelligence agencies. Nobody told me that. So in a weird way, that was him kind of being like, they're doing the same thing to him that they did to me. Which, low-key, all right, that's what's up. Thank you, Trump. And Trump's been doing this a lot recently. He'll go out there and he'll side with Bernie over the Democratic establishment, and he'll say like, oh, they're trying to screw Bernie, they're trying to screw Bernie, they're trying to screw Bernie. But I will say this, that's not just Trump like calling balls and strikes as he sees it. This is also Trump doing his own Pied Piper strategy, because he's been told 1,000 times Bernie's probably the weaker candidate to go up against. So now he's acting like, oh, that's the one I'm really scared of. Now, they miscalculated in the same way Hillary miscalculated about Trump. Hillary was trying to boost up Trump because she thought there's no way I could lose to Trump, and then Trump beat her. Trump is trying to boost up Bernie because he probably thinks I'm more likely to beat him than anybody else, and Bernie's going to win, or Bernie is the toughest competition to Trump, at the very least, I should say. So I don't know exactly why he's doing it. Part of me thinks Trump's just like, he just has no filter and he's just saying whatever. And like, so when he sees something like they're trying to use Russia against Bernie now, he's like, they did that to me. This nonsense. And he's just being honest. But then the other part of me is like, no, he's trying to, kind of do a little bit of the Pied Piper strategy himself and say like, let me keep trying to side with him to boost him up so that I run against him and Trump thinks he could beat him. So I don't know. We'll see. But the final point I want to make in this story, and I think this is really important, is one of the reasons why we know this is BS, apart from the obvious, which is, and you guys can go back and see all of my RussiaGate coverage, I meticulously debunked all the nonsense they threw out there, and a lot of it was just really, like, they were barely trying. They were trying to put together a narrative that made less than no sense. Trump kept being more and more hawkish with Russia, as they're saying he's a Manchurian candidate and he's Putin's puppet, and I'm just holding up what he's doing versus what they're saying about him, and I'm going, these don't match. You're saying he's, subservient to this guy, but he keeps escalating with him militarily and putting more NATO troops on his border and didn't approve an oil and gas deal and is sanctioning them and this and that. So it doesn't match. There's no evidence that he's actually under this dude's thumb. But apart from the details, here's another reason I know it's BS. Because they've tried this a million times in American history. This is what the deep state does. They try to disqualify people and discount people with nonsense accusations like this. So look at this. What do we have? Why Russian officials tried to help John F. Kennedy win the presidency. Aides say Carter is courted by Russians. Why Putin wants Obama to win. And then the article we just saw, Sanders told Russia is trying to help his campaign. You see what they do? You see what they do? Again, it's not a partisan thing. A bunch of times they went after Democrats, but they also did this with Trump because they thought he might change stuff too. So guys, I'm going to beg everybody out there, don't accept anything with no evidence, especially from the same people who lied to us about the Iraq war. The idea that they're these like arbiters of truth on other issues, please take it with a grain of salt. Do not be like Rachel Maddow, because in all seriousness, Rachel Maddow at this point is just the Alex Jones of the left.